Let's go! Who's up next?
Welcome, Internet, to the Xbox Empire podcast, part of the Play Some Video Games network of podcasts. I'm Elaine. Donnie's here. Let's party.
Kids. It's going to be a fun time.
There's a lot There's never not something to discuss, but my favorite part about this is that it's all the golf games again. I think this has become our brand. It's the golf pass. It's the Golf Pass podcast.
Golf Pass podcast.
Freaking nailed it, dude. Donnie, before we get into this nonsense, what did you play in, baby? What did you play in?
Don't give EA ideas. They're totally going to make a Golf Pass.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's not, absolutely going to happen. Don't, okay, look, let's just, you heard it here first. The gnome is whispering it. We're going to put him in the closet for a minute. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it.
I am playing Ori.
Wait.
Yep.
For the 4,500th time?
Actually, I'm playing Ori and the Blind Forest, which I haven't played as many times as you want. I actually quit playing Ori the first time because I thought it was too hard.
It is hard. Blind Forest is the first game, right? Yeah. I tried it the first time, quit, and then came back to it and fell in love with it and beat it and cried. Yeah. There were tears. I'm a child.
I thought it was really hard, and I loved it, but I was just like, it was like, to me, it was like Hollow Knight. It was one of those things that I just wasn't going to be able to beat, to do.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. You did not beat Hollow Knight. Suddenly I feel like an elite gamer.
Are you? Oh, yeah, I forget. You're new here.
Somebody said now I feel like an elite gamer, so I'm just going to stretch. Just, okay.
Changing my name here.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so you played. Is this only your second time through Blind Forest?
No.
Okay.
All right. Sorry. We've got all the. I'm a little off my rhythm here.
There's a lot going on for all of us right now.
Trying to make sure everything's working.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, did we break it again?
No, I think it's working. We're gonna power through. I think it's working. Okay. So Ori comes out. I think it's amazing, and I have a really hard time beating it. It gets really too tough. I ended up turning it off. This is like before the definitive edition comes out. I played Ori the first time on PC, actually. This was a time I was trying to be a PC gamer. I used to have a Steam box and all kinds of stuff. Like, I've been through some stuff.
I feel like we need to have an offline come to Jesus meeting about what the hell you're saying. I don't like this. We're going to skip right past it.
Definitive edition comes. I bought the actual physical copy, but I didn't even try to play it again. Comes to Switch, and I bought it. I played it on easy on Switch. I beat it.
All right.
But I'm still in that. Nothing has changed kind of in what I'm doing week to week. Like I'm playing stuff, but like I'm not jonesing to play something. Like there's nothing like on the forefront of my, gaming time. Like, oh, I have to play something right now.
I'm having the same like limbo feeling. Is it limbo? Is it like, I think I'm waiting for these April and May releases to hit, and I don't.
What releases would those be?
So I'm looking forward to Nier.
Okay.
A great deal. I want to play Returnal on the PS5. And then May has got the Mass Effect and Resident Evil. So I feel like I have these 4 big games and I'm like hesitant to commit to anything else before them. Like I have Monster Hunter in my Switch. I can't commit.
And see, I don't even have Monster Hunter and like Outriders not doing anything for me. So like, it's just, I'm just not like super excited to replay something. So, I'm playing old stuff, which everybody has been listening to our show knows. They've known that for weeks now. And, I was like, let's give Ori another try.
Okay.
Because it's been a minute and I got that fabulous I Am 8-Bit collection.
So you bought this off eBay though. You did not buy this when it was in a run. See, you have to learn who you are, Donnie, in advance. Like, you know what? I was like, that's a lot of money for a Doom collection. And I'm like, Elaine, who are you? You're going to buy that later on eBay for twice the price. Don't be stupid.
I got a good deal.
Pay retail. Okay.
I don't feel awful. I paid more than it would have cost me, but not that much more. Like $25.
That's not money. Was it new?
Yeah. Brand new,
Okay.
sealed and everything.
I'm gonna let that one go then.
And then
I'm
I
very proud of
cut
you.
it open and took it out and
I do that. Hell yeah.
spread it out all over my shelf.
Yeah, people get so mad at me. I love it. I bought it to use it.
It made me nostalgic. You know, I got this pretty like stained glass and everything. I was like, you know what?
Man.
This is a shame. I love this series so much. I beat Will o' the Wisp, the whole thing, you know, and I was like, maybe I can go back and I'm over halfway through it. Like the first time I really, really struggled with the tree escape. The escape sequences to me required precision in a way that sometimes I felt like the game was fighting me on. Just a little bit. This time I died maybe 5 times and I was out.
That's not bad.
It wasn't bad. It was pretty quick. So yeah, I'm playing Ori. I got nothing else to play, so I'm playing Ori. Okay. And after I beat Ori this week, I'm thinking I'll play maybe Far Cry 5.
Cool. I like that this has just become a loop for us. This is fine. There's plenty of news to talk about, so y'all can hear us talk about the same like 6 games over and over again.
I feel bad. We have a question about Outriders and stuff. Like I realize that the rest of the world is in on these other things, but I'm not. It's not for me.
So I installed Outriders. I'll address this, but the servers were such a crap show, right?
Yeah.
And then when I finally had time to play games, they were a crap show. Those couple of first days, and then all of a sudden work was exploding in my face, and I was like, I don't have the energy to learn a new video game right now. Mm-hmm. That's what happens to me. Like that's a mental thing for me, where it's like I want to engage in a video game, but I don't have the energy to learn the language of a new game when I'm really stressed. So I just default back to like I played more Wolfenstein, and then I played Narita Boy.
Yeah,
more. Yo, that game's freaking rad, dude.
Yeah,
like. It's not like it's a little floaty platform wise, and it can be a little frustrating like visual language wise because there's so much happening that you're like, why don't I have a map and where do I go? Mm-hmm. But all of that is put away by the music and the visual style of that ridiculous game. Also, it's very up its own butt in terms of like the way its dialogue and stuff is written.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I'm like, bro, you're a video game. Call Mate. But
it's a love letter to all of that.
It is, and it's nonsense, but I really am here for it. I'm having a really good time.
It's made with a lot of heart. Oh, you can tell like this is the game that they wanted to make.
Yeah.
Probably like their entire life.
They're like, screw you, we're doing it. Lord VHS. Great VHS. Name. It's just so stupid.
And like, I played a little bit more of that, but I don't know. I was sitting there this weekend and I didn't want to play it. Like, I just wasn't in the mood.
So do you think, this is a question related, do you think that Game Pass enables that behavior? Like, do you think if you paid for games more, you would be more inclined towards finishing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that anything that hits Game Pass, I have no like I don't feel bad if I don't finish it.
Yeah, no, and that's one of the reasons why I love Game Pass, because when we were buying games, like before Game Pass in PSVG land, most of the team made fun of me quite often for buying a game. You like, let's say it's 50 hours, right? I buy it, I play it for 10 or 15 hours, and I trade it. Right. And they'd be like, and then they would either make fun of me for not finishing it or making fun of me for trading it and not waiting for a sale. Like, you know, like there's just, they would throw stones at me, but now it's on Game Pass and it's like, you know, what are you going to do? You can't do anything. But I am, you know, Dev likes to call Game Pass like the buffet. And
it kind of is.
This is his way of basically associating it to me because I am that buffet gamer where I like to go and I will dabble and kind of taste a bunch of different things and wait till I find something I really like and then sit down and really, you know, dive in. But, you know, I feel like I've beaten more Game Pass games than anything else. But it is one of those things where if it's not calling to me, like if it's not the medium, if I'm not really into it, then yeah, my investment is minimal. I don't feel, you know, some sort of, I don't know, driving force to complete it or like some sort of entitlement. It's like I got to get my money's worth. Yeah. Which for 15 years, that's how gaming has basically revolved. Like the conversation around a game has really revolved around whether or not it was worth your money.
Yeah. And it's like, for me,
like in hours.
I know, like we do this math, like seeing
gamer math.
It was always related to like how many hours. What does it cost to see a movie for 2 hours? Like, bro, this doesn't. I don't.
Game Pass really throws that out of the window.
Well, it's the Netflix subscription idea.
TV.
Right?
It's you just have a whole thing here, and if you're not feeling it right now, change the channel.
And it's like Netflix series. If I try one and I don't like it, I just stop watching it. Mm-hmm. I do the same. So I've also grown into this place, though. I was going to say I used to be at a point probably in my early 20s where I felt like I had to finish everything I started. And I didn't have a ton of money back then, and I wanted to wring it all out. I'm in my late 30s, dude. I don't have time. If I don't like it, then I'm just going to move on and let it go. And
I tell you, I want to. I bought Ghost Runner. I played the demo, really liked
I need to
it.
do that.
I bought the game. I returned it. I asked for a refund.
Really? Why?
It's so hard.
Oh my God, Donnie.
It's so hard.
It is hard.
Kick you in the teeth hard. And I tried and I tried and I tried and I got past. Like, so I played the demo, right? And I loved it. It was super fun. I was like, this is Katana Zero, like in 3D space.
Yeah.
It's like Cyberpunk Katana Zero. This is awesome.
It's hard though.
And I'm playing it and I replay all of it. I get past the demo and I still play and I get to maybe like the 4th or 5th section. Died like 97 times before I got through.
That sounds right.
And I was like, no, I'm not going to keep doing this.
There are certain games that are incredibly difficult that I latch into. Like Celeste was one of them. Dark Souls and Bloodborne were them, but not 2 or 3. There are certain games I'm just like, I'm willing to take this abuse because for some reason it clicks. It is not applied to everything.
So I quit on Hollow Knight. Like, I couldn't get through the Soul Master on Hollow Knight, and I was like, I'm out of here. And here's the funny thing. The thing that make you laugh. This is at this point, because I've been podcasting for almost 6 years. I feel like everything I say is just regurgitating something I've said before.
I mean, that's the way human nature is.
So I always feel bad. Like in my head, there's like this inner monologue. It's like nobody wants to keep hearing this, but
are there zombies in there? Please, someone get my cranberry.
Leading up to Hollow Knight for like a year. Hollow Knight was like my indie game. It was my tunic of its day. I was like, everybody, you need to know Hollow Knight. And then it dropped at E3 on Switch. And I was like, oh my God, it's here. And I bought it and I wanted everybody else to buy it. And I played it and I had an amazing 4 or 5 hours with it until I got to the Soul Knight and died 100 times. And like, it was either that or I was going to break my Switch. I was either going to have to quit Hollow Knight or I was going to snap my Switch in half.
I obsessed over that game in such a way that I was playing it before we left on Easter morning to go to my parents. And I like told my kids they had to wait because I was beating the final boss. And they were like both standing behind me and we're all dressed up for Easter. And they're like cheering me on and I beat it and we
Jason at the time, he was doing the post game or he was like
in
the arena
there's other
fighting.
stuff. There's tons of stuff.
I'm just suck at games apparently. I'm just not good
You're not
enough.
an elite gamer?
Not at all. Not at all. So yeah, Ghost Runner, like I wanted Ghost Runner to be it. Like I want a new game. I really do. Like there's so many games right now where, you know, like I feel like I've said it a few times, like if a game was out right now, like if Mass Effect Legendary Edition was out right now, I'd buy it. Just because I want to get into something
new. I'm in there too. I'm there too.
I want to buy a new game. It just, there's nothing there. There's nothing on my radar until Snap. And then really Resident Evil 8 or Resident Village. Like that's my next game.
I'm frothing for that.
Right now I'm just spinning my wheels until Resident Evil gets here.
I've got the problem that I have is that it's like a game a week for 4 weeks and they're all huge games. Like Nier Replicant is not going to be a short game and I'm really excited about that game. And then it's like Returnal comes out pretty soon right after that. I think it is exactly a week. And then it's Resident Evil and then it's Mass Effect and I'm just like now. Oh, Deathloop is also May.
Yeah,
that was the other one.
I got Deathloop and Resident Evil Village, and then Kevin got Returnal.
I want to play
game
Returnal.
share on PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Now, I 100% fully expect to hate Returnal.
You are going to hate the crap out of it. If you do not like stuff that's hard, that's basically a roguelike with persistence.
I'm not going to like it, but here's what I will promise our PlayStation friends and family. I won't tell you why I don't like it, because the world doesn't need me hating on PlayStation stuff. So
also, like,
I'll just keep it to myself.
It's unfair for you to levy that opinion on a genre you know you're not going to like.
Yeah,
do you know
100%.
what I mean? Like, we already know you're not going to like it. There's no need for us to hear the why of the 50th time.
100%.
I agree with that statement.
It doesn't even matter.
Like,
why would you listen to my opinion on that? Like, who cares?
It's like me with football games. You don't want to know what I think. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's fine. You know what I mean? That's what we have other people.
I'll play it. If I like it, I'll tell you. And if not, then I'll just stop playing it and you'll never know the difference.
Spoilers, kids. There's like a 5-to-1 odds on him. Nope, there's like 50-to-1 odds on him hating the crap out of this game.
Than that.
I am not concerned about him like magically liking this video game. It's fine. But yeah, I think I'm in the limbo, but then it's going to be like an avalanche of video games in this.
Thought about going back to Valhalla.
Why not?
Or what was the other one that they did? Phoenix?
Watch Dogs, Phoenix, which they all came out at once.
Immortals was the word I was trying to think of. The only thing I could think of was Odyssey. Like that was the word in my head.
Also a very good video game.
But yeah, I think Far Cry. Like Far Cry I loved. I haven't replayed it completed. Like when the Series X came, I booted up Far Cry just to see if it was like enhanced. It's not. But it does run smoother. I might just play that for like till Snap. I might just get into Far Cry 5 and just play it until Pokemon Snap.
When is
comes out.
Snap?
The end of the month. It's the 30th.
All right, so it's the same date as Returnal. So I'm gonna buy Snap for my kids, and then I'm gonna play the game about the monsters in space.
Jazz for Pokemon Snap.
I will play it, but I'm gonna let the kids have it first.
But I also know what Pokemon Snap is gonna be.
I mean, I played the 64,
and I expect the internet to like have a meltdown when they realize they can beat the campaign in 6 hours. It's like it's Pokemon Snap.
It's Pokemon Snap.
That's what it's supposed to be. You got to replay it.
The internet always needs. Look,
it's not about reaching the end screen in Pokemon Snap. You got to do it again and again and again.
The internet always needs something to be mad at. Let them be mad at Pokemon and like be distracted from other things.
Let them eat hype.
You know what? Let's talk about eating hype. Let's talk about the internet being big mad this week.
Or excited.
We need to move our recording date to Fridays because we keep getting completely screwed on news like this. So here's what happened. And I've never had so many people tag me in tweets and send me text messages in my life. MLB The Show is coming to Xbox Game Pass on day 1. That's also this month. I believe it's the 20th.
Yeah.
Day 1.
Now, you know what?
Damn, B.
Hang on a second.
Let's play some show.
Yeah, I'm totally going to play MLB The Show. So let me take back everything I just said in terms of the reason I didn't say it because I'm not buying it. Because it's just going to show up on Game Pass.
But this goes into Game Pass, and you can decide you don't like it in 10 hours. You don't have to take back anything you said. You're so right.
Yeah, I'm excited for the show, and I was blown away by this news because leading up to this news, I had mentioned to you, I was trying to find a way to buy it. I didn't want to pay $60 for the show because I was like,
right,
it's a baseball game. Like with most sports games, I'll play it for 5-10 hours, like check out a couple modes, and then I'll move on. And I was like, but I really do want to play it, and because I got the show last year's the show on PlayStation, and I was playing on my PlayStation 5, and I was really actually enjoying it way more than I ever expected I would. It's been a long time since I've played a baseball game.
The show is the base. There is no better baseball
I haven't played a baseball game basically since the 360 or PS3 era. Like I had just skipped all of the show throughout PS4. Like I just
Dude.
So I wanted to find a way to get this. Now, one of the things I did the last week, I actually did this before we recorded. I just didn't tell you about it.
Of course not.
I sold Jack Series X.
Really?
Yeah. He just didn't play it.
He isn't playing it. So
just didn't play it at all. He just wasn't playing it. So what I told him was, I was like, look, let's just sell this because it's worth a lot of money and people really want them and you're not using it. You're playing Fortnite on it, but you're also playing on your Switch, which is a waste of the box.
Agreed.
And I was like, we'll just get you an Xbox One instead.
Okay.
So I got him the Gears 4 Omen Xbox One S, the red one.
The red one. I like the red one. The red one's dope.
I got one of those and an Elite controller, an Elite 2 controller that I let him have. I was like, look, it's your controller. Just have it.
You're so much nicer.
You do the triggers and sticks and the Fortnite thing. I don't care, So I let him have that, and we sold the other one, and I was going to use that money on the show. And then this news hit.
Dude, this actually made me the most conflicted ever. I love baseball. It's the one sport I really like. My husband loves baseball. I was going to buy the special edition of the show because the steelbook is Jackie Robinson. Black and white. Edition, yeah. It's dope. It's like a really cool steelbook. And now I'm just like, crap, this game is free on Game Pass. Like I can't justify. So now I'm going to try to pick the steelbook up off of eBay later. Yeah. It'll probably still be cheaper. But like this messed with my head. Like I was.
Well, first and foremost, we were way wrong. We were big wrong. We got a question about this, remember?
And we said it wouldn't happen.
We were like, no way. Now, this was, I think we weren't wrong. We were under the impression, as the rest of the world was, that PlayStation had some sort of say in this matter.
They don't. It turns out the MLB makes the rules, and the MLB wanted more people to play their video game.
How crazy
it's just
is
so
that?
Simple.
Like, I brought this up to the PlayStation team in the Discord and on their show. Like, I wonder if PlayStation would, sell Sony San Diego, or if they just make so much money, like they're willing to, pun intended, play ball.
They make a lot of money off this game because they also sell the card packs and the booster stuff. Yeah. There is currency in these games, and they make a crap load, just like the NBA games make.
I gotta imagine they are. No, I think they care a lot. I don't think they're real happy about this at all.
It's not a good look.
It's a terrible look.
I had heard rumblings that this was potentially going to happen a year ago, right? Because of the MLB wanting more people to play this video game. I had heard, let me take it back. I had heard that the MLB was upset that it didn't get more traction. There weren't as many bodies playing it. Last year, I looked it up.
I think last year, the show was the 27th best-selling video game, which is
not
good,
bad, but it's not
NBA, not 2K, not Madden, not what it could be.
there's no baseball competition.
Yeah.
That's what's so startling about that position. And this is a good video game. So there was rumblings that MLB wasn't happy about that, but I didn't think for a second that that would lead to day one on Game Pass. I thought 2 months before the next one dropped, maybe you'd get the old one. Mm-hmm. Day one on Game Pass is a freaking huge deal.
I think it makes a lot of sense. But first, all right, let's just talk about that. It makes a lot of sense. Look, it's the first time this game has come to Xbox, and as you already said, we'll continue to get it.
Yeah.
Like until further notice. Like this is what Major League Baseball wants their games to be.
Yes.
They're putting on PC too, right?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I know it's confirmed for console.
They want more people playing the show.
The baseball game that they spend a lot of money, they want them to play.
Yeah, yes. They want, and it's not just the game. It's not like it is about money. Don't get me wrong, but it's also about baseball. Major League Baseball taking a concentrated effort to get more people, more eye. They're losing huge ratings and grounds to basketball, to soccer now, even like not European soccer, like
no
Major League Soccer.
Yeah, and it's because like young people are not super into baseball because
They're
baseball
is baseball.
It's a stat sport, and for a lot of people, it's not as like hockey is too, but people hit each other in that one.
Yeah,
you know. So I get it, but also baseball is beautiful. But that's just my thought.
Yeah, they're trying to find ways, and one of the ways that they're doing is marketing, and one of their ways is engagement, and that would fall into this. Is what they're trying to do. Okay, so the game has never been on this platform. Now we know it's big news; it's coming to the platform, but that doesn't mean that everybody knows that or everybody's going to run out and buy it.
Right.
So what do? You ink a deal to put it in Game Pass. And what it does is it at least is a really big placement like, hey, not just for this game, but sets up for future years of letting Xbox fans know you can buy the show, you can play the best baseball game on your Xbox.
You bought a front page advertisement on every Xbox console that gets booted.
Yeah.
That's what you bought. You didn't buy, you bought me booting up my Xbox and going, MLB The Show is now on Game Pass, pretty much straight in my face every time that I boot that console. And that's genius because that is the market share they want. They want younger people into baseball.
Mm-hmm. And what that means is that for future years, not like just this year, but for the next 10 years, that you'll probably see more sales than you would have regardless, because at least, let's say a year or two from now, the next show comes out and people will be like, well, maybe it's not on Game Pass, but I still want to buy it because it's
liked
awesome.
It. You only got to get... I really am of the opinion if you like baseball in any way, you only have to play the show once to determine, holy crap, it's probably the best sports game.
Oh, it's really good. That was me. I played it on PlayStation 5 and I was like, oh, this is fantastic.
It's the best sports game you can play. I would argue that point. It is incredibly good and incredibly full-featured, and everything if you love baseball that you want is in this video game. So you only got to play it once, and then you're just like, I'll buy it every year. Yeah. Because that's what happened to my husband. He doesn't even like video games that much.
So this is insane, because you're right. We're getting it for our current Game Pass investment, whatever that is. So most people that have had Game Pass and continue to have Game Pass got this for nothing. Or they will be able to play it in 2 weeks for no money.
What? Not 6 months after launch, not 2 months after. Day one is big money. I don't, and Donnie, in the year they're selling it for $70.
Yeah. And smart delivery.
I know it is. You get both versions.
You get both versions. You play it so I'm going to download it. I can play it on my Series X and Series X version. Jack can download on his Xbox One, play the Xbox One version. And if you're on PlayStation and you want both versions, you will have to pay, was it $100 or $90? You have to buy the Jackie Robinson edition. You have to buy the Super edition.
Right.
You can't just have both.
That one I think is $80 because the collector's edition is usually $100.
That's a really bad look. I get it and I understand it, but it's a really, really bad look.
MLB really screwed Sony on this one. They screwed them. This was a big FU. There is no nice way to say that to Sony because I think they think of Sony as dropping the ball on this. Like they do have the best freaking sports game that exists if you love baseball. How are more people not playing it?
And that's saying something considering Sony's install base in the last gen
is bigger.
You'd think that their numbers would be, do you think they'd be happy with their numbers? It's not it's not a potential. It's just the clients aren't buying. And here's the funny thing. I think that makes sense when you see the reaction from traditional PlayStation gamers. They're like, so I wasn't going to get the show anyway. There's a lot of indifference. And
that's telling. And I think that, but here's my question for you. And the thing that I keep wondering is, would this have happened if COVID had not happened and the MLB had not eaten so much loss from stadiums and games. I don't know that this would have been so mission critical. I bet you this would have happened next year if COVID hadn't happened. I think that was the nudge, like, oh, we're losing too much money. We got to get people into baseball.
Yeah, that makes some sense. That I can see that at least being a factor for sure.
Yes, they lost a lot of money last year.
I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, like, how is this not in PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus? You got to remember. That
blows my mind, too.
That doesn't bother. I'm not surprised by that at all for one very easy reason. Xbox is paying MLB to give the game away. There's nobody paying Sony.
True.
To give the game away.
But they own the studio.
I know, but if they were to put the game in Plus, they're just eating any revenue that was. It's just gone.
Well, and that's telling because if the revenue was dicey enough that was a problem, then that's...
And this is where I continue to pat myself on the back when I continue to bring up the fact that through Game Pass, Xbox has taken what has traditionally been a weakness in this market, smaller install base, smaller perception, even a smaller group. Like, what do we have? 20 million Game Pass subscribers?
I thought it was only 15, but it doesn't matter.
It was 18 in January.
Okay, then we're probably pushing 20. Let's just say 20 to be conservative. 20.
And, like, you got to think after this and Outriders, like, they're pushing, they're going to be pushed. Those numbers are going up. But that aside, they've taken a small group and they are using it to throw their weight around, and they're finding success doing it. Whereas for 30 years, it's all, oh my God, I've gotten so tired of hearing gamers talk about install bases in consoles because they think it's the only thing that matters. But traditionally that has been. When you have the install base, then you have the advantage when trying to buy exclusives or work out deals. You know why? Because you're speaking for the majority of the market. Except for now, Xbox through Game Pass and their own investment. Don't get me wrong.
I was just going to say, this is about liquid financial status. They have money to spend.
They flipped the table. And we talked about this when the Bethesda deal happened. Like, when they got Bethesda, we were like, guys, look out. I still don't think a lot of people were taking them seriously. And then you get, like, I was excited about the medium. Doesn't seem like a lot of people were. No. Outriders is a huge
Outriders
thing.
Is a really big deal. Day one is a big deal.
And we're like, man, like, this is amazing. You're a Game Pass subscriber. And then they followed up with the show like, right after.
1 month later. They're every month you're getting. So the reason that these are smart choices is because these are not Microsoft first party games. These are third party bangers. That's why this is a big deal.
Yeah. And
the more of that Microsoft gets, the more people they will eventually drag to Game Pass. Because people are going to be like, yo, I buy a lot of these third-party games. It's starting to financially make sense for me to get into this platform.
To at least have Game Pass as a side hustle or something.
Capacity,
you've got to have Game Pass. Playing on your PC, get on Series S, whatever you got to do. You got to get Game Pass. So over on PSXP this past weekend, which I was having, do you listen to the show?
I don't always. Sorry, guys.
This past weekend, I was having a blast because I was in the chat live while I was playing Ori. Because this is basically the episode I've always wanted to watch. Like, having to watch Devin talk about Game Pass so much just brought so much joy to my own heart. Devin, he even said, he's like, I'm so effing tired of Game Pass. And that, like, I wanted to clip that out and, like, I want to make it a part of, like, our bumper or something. I want to include it in the show.
That's what Microsoft wants people to feel.
That's what
and they're nailing it. I'm so tired of Game Pass. Crap. Like,
I've got to get it. They're penetrating. They're penetrating.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But one of the things that they said, because one of the questions that they got, not to turn this into a PlayStation show, was, does PlayStation need Game Pass? Like, you're starting to see more and more PlayStation fans, as I think they should be asking, like, why not us? Why is everybody else having the fun and not us? Like, we bought your platform, we've invested into you. Why are you not doing this? And Devin's answer was, they don't need Game Pass. Like, they don't need to play this game. He's like, they need to, they just need to put out more and more games. And I don't think Devin's wrong. It's not why I'm trying to bring this up. I think there's a good point to that. But I will say this, and I said it to him on the show in the chat. That kind of thought could lead you into Blockbuster when they weren't worried about Netflix type of thing.
Sure.
Like, you can't just dismiss what Xbox is doing, which is where I wanted to take this conversation, in the sense that I made the case, and I will make the case, that I think the best approach forward, I don't think this will happen, but this is just my own hypothetical. I think the best path forward is that PlayStation needs to work out a deal to bring Game Pass to PlayStation. Streaming only, right? Just put the app on PlayStation. Here's why. Could they do Game Pass? Absolutely, they could. Like, they could take Now or create something else. I would actually prefer it if they created something else. Like, Now is a train wreck. Like,
they could get away with it would have to be a complete overhaul of Now.
Yeah. Like,
Now is it? Dev and I have talked about this. Now is a mess. We all agree.
There's no faith in that product at all. Like, the brand, it's all just bad. Just I don't even care if it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just give it a new name and a new
and make it work better because it's trash.
Let's start over. Yeah. All right, so. Whether it's Now or something else, they could do a Game Pass competitor, but you got to look at the big picture here. Are they going to go toe to toe to bring day and date third party games and pay the amount of money and invest into the subscriber model and bring their games and I think there's some argument to be said that they wouldn't even have to bring first party games day and date, but I think it's gonna be really hard to compete with Game Pass if you don't. But that I'm not even sticking on that issue. The amount of money that Microsoft is investing in Game Pass right now would have to at least cause Sony some concern to like, this is where we're going to go.
I am fairly certain financially Sony does not have the dollars and cents to go up against Microsoft in this way.
So
in this particular way, install bases aside, buck to buck, if you walk into a third-party dev meeting and you say, we want to put you on our service day one, yeah, Microsoft's just got more money.
Yeah, these deals aren't like $1 million deals.
No, these are big money deals.
Like, the show sells at $60. That was $70 a pop this year?
$70, yeah.
So Microsoft has cut them a check to give that game to 20 million people.
But Microsoft is incredibly, people need to understand financially, they're incredibly liquid. They have a ton of money that they can do stuff like this. Sony is not.
And we talked about like that 20 million Game Pass base, like the amount of money that they're generating off of that. What was it? I forget it, but we were talking about in January, like that article from GameIndustry.biz. Yeah. They're pulling like $2.5 billion a year.
Right. Just for those that small
just that are already there. And they are investing 2 and 3 times over that into the service to grow that number up. They want that number to be 60, not 20.
Sony cannot afford. I don't think that Sony will ever bring Game Pass to their console, at least in this generation of consoles, because I think they're too proud. That's how I feel about it. And you did say you didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. But I think it's everybody's interest, including Sony's. It's like, do you go toe-to-toe with this giant corporation and their dollar? Or do you simply say, hey, give us a cut, we'll put the streaming thing over here, and maybe we'll support it with some of our games, some of our smaller games. We'll put on Game Pass. Like we'll make some money. We'll sell it over there if you agree to put some of your games, hello Bethesda, on here. Like there's an easy deal to make where we can all be happy. We can put all this console warring to bed and again, streaming only. You're not going to download Halo on your PlayStation. Yeah. But you could boot up the app and you could do the streaming thing.
I think it's going to be secret option number 3, and secret option number 3 is Sony ignores it to their better or worse. They ignore it until they absolutely have to, and they keep we have the install base, we have the better first party games.
Forward.
That's the one they're going to take though.
That's a risk. I hope PlayStation fans really, I'm not trying to scare them or anything like that, but when you have a corporation this is basically Amazon does to mom and pops.
Yes,
this is the Walmart
effect.
Out
of the house, yeah.
When they are just spending this much money to drive the price, you either play ball, you go the way of the dinosaur. You're not,
I think Sony sees it as a longer time that they have to figure it out. And they probably do. They have time because they have so many more people and they're making enough money to keep their service well afloat. And also, they've been fighting this console war for so long that they're not going to walk it back this fast. They're going to wait this out until they absolutely have to make a business decision. And I don't think that happens in this generation of consoles. I'm going to rub my crystal ball, the one that doesn't shock me.
I think you're probably right. I mean,
and
I think
that's what I'm going to say.
I think it is a risky proposition because what Xbox is doing at this point is, I mean, we've said it a bunch. We've already said in the show, it is Netflix. They're making it such a non-decision. You just have to have Game Pass. You're doing a disservice to yourself.
Almost.
It's disadvantageous to you to be oh, I'm just going to buy the show and all these other games at $70 a piece. If you bought the show and Outriders,
that's 2 years of Game Pass.
You're not supporting play. You're hurting yourself.
And I think that here's the thing. The number of people who make that shift with Sony's install base being what it is from the PS4 going into the PS5 is probably not enough to scare them yet. It might be, though, as this console generation wears on and people start doing the financial math in their heads.
Well, I think the interesting thing is, I think right now, I agree with you. I would agree with you if there was a chicken in every pot. I disagree with you because consoles aren't on shelves yet. So Xbox right now, every time they do this and they hit another one, they're gaining mind share. And when consoles hit shelves, it'd be very interesting to see, like, are you still outselling 3-4 to 1? Have they eaten into that ratio at all?
Probably, but it's really complicated this time around because you're carrying libraries forward, largely. So if I boot up my PS5, a lot of my PS4 games that I bought digitally are still available to me. Mm-hmm. And with the size of the install base of the PS4, the number of people with those built-up libraries is significant. And I think that's part of the situation. So I think probably for this first year of consoles being on shelves, we might not see a shift. But as time wears on and people start buying that second console or like making a judgment call as to switch or something like that, then maybe we see it. That's why I don't think Sony's in a rush. I think they want to see how this pans out.
I don't think they're in a rush either.
They're not nervous yet. They're not nervous yet.
They're getting...
But some of this is a little spicy.
There's rumors. Did you see the Ed over from the Xbox Air? We brought up a few of his rumors. He mentioned it was his podcast. Jeff was on the podcast while I was listening. And he mentioned that there was a AAA first-person shooter launching into Game Pass this fall.
Is that Call of Duty?
It's got to be Battlefield.
You think it's Battlefield?
Battlefield A has to make up ground. B is already in EA access.
Yeah. Yep.
It's gotta be Battlefield.
This all makes sense.
I want it to be Back 4 Blood. It's not Back 4 Blood.
No. That's not a AAA. We don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's not a AAA thing either.
Everybody needs to chill. We need to wait for that one to be out.
I want it to be Back 4 Blood. I'd even make a case for it. I think like World War Z would help Back 4 Blood to have an install base like that, like Outriders to get out of the gate. But
it's not that game. That's
got to be Battlefield. I think it's probably Battlefield.
See how many people care a lot of people play Battlefield on PC.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Microsoft's making the decisions that are smart, and everybody owns a console.
There have been long rumors they're going to do something with Ubisoft. Like they got the Medium, they got Outriders.
Getting Outriders and the show in a 4-week period is freaking bananas.
It's a monster.
It's bananas.
Insane. This is crazy.
It's exciting. Microsoft is putting content on the service that I pay for every month.
Get Game Pass. People get Game Pass. Like it's not a love Xbox.
No.
Love yourself and your own bank account and your own wallet.
I'm sorry.
Get Game Pass.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like a t-shirt that says love yourself, get Game Pass.
Love yourself, get Game Pass. Like,
holy crap, Donnie. That's a good one.
It's just good for you. You know, like
this feels like a post-apocalyptic video game advertisement. It's just good for you.
Well, it's like Narita Boy came out and people are like, oh, that's so cool. You know, it's $25 on PlayStation.
2 months of Game Pass, pretty much.
It's Game Pass. Just get Game Pass. Like if
they haven't listened to you by now, they're not going to listen to us. So. Man, and they're listening to this podcast, so they all have Game Pass because they're smart, good listeners.
I hope so.
All right, we're going to move through. Let's talk about things that are smart and good. I don't think this is either. I don't know what this is. So E3 is back. Okay?
Yeah,
E3 is happening, which is good, and I'm kind of excited.
We're gonna live stream the show.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
June 12th through June 15th, there will be no paid tier. It is a free virtual event.
What are those dates?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Sunday. Look it up.
We're really on the ball on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
June 13th is a Sunday.
So
that'll
Saturday,
be the day
Sunday.
that Xbox goes. No, it'll be
the 12th through the 15th. So it starts on a Saturday. Saturday has traditionally been Bethesda, hasn't it?
Yes.
Am I wrong?
I think so.
It's been a minute. My brain is foggy.
I think Sunday will be Xbox and Bethesda.
So Xbox, Nintendo, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, Capcom, and Konami are confirmed for this event. It will be reimagined and all virtual. This is in quotation marks, as it is a quote. And like, I mean, look, let's go. Let's see some freaking video games going into the fall.
No PlayStation.
They didn't do last year. And
the
year before. They don't give a crap anymore.
I just feel like I have a PlayStation. So like, contrary to popular belief, I'm not rooting for PlayStation's demise.
I also have a PlayStation. I would like to see an event too, because I would like to know.
guys, can you do stuff? It's like
do something.
Do stuff, please. Like, do stuff. Like, we bought the console. Please. It's like they got the show, we got the Game Pass, all the stuff's going on.
Look,
like,
Returnal is coming out.
What are you doing, guys? They're like,
Deathloop
we got Oddworld
is coming out. Calm down.
We got Oddworld.
No. We're not talking about Oddworld. I freaking hate Oddworld.
I hate Oddworld too.
It's so weird. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. We got 2 questions related to this. Tony says, if Bethesda has their own show at E3, which I suspect they will, that's my
that's what Jeff said.
Editorializing. That would likely mean that the Xbox conference will not include any Bethesda games. That does not mean that. Also editorializing there.
Good point.
What game will close out the show for Xbox? I actually think they would close it out with either... I mean, they show Halo. Or do they open with Halo?
They're open with Halo.
Do they close with Motorsport? Or Forza of some kind?
No, I don't think that's a closer.
Right?
I think they're going to close with something that's not coming out this year.
So a Bethesda game.
Yeah, I think it very well could be a Bethesda game. But all right, so Jeff said that he believes the plan is for the Xbox show to go and then bleed into the Bethesda show.
That makes sense.
With like an intermission between the two.
So
because they've both been working on these E3 presentations for months. Long time. So this is not new to them. So I think in future years you'll see them kind of combined together. But
maybe.
I agree with you. I don't think the separate shows means that one and the other can't show up on one or the other. Like,
they do that all the time. They've shown Bethesda trailers in the Xbox event, and then Bethesda has gone in more depth in their thing, and vice versa before. And that will happen here.
If Starfield is coming out this year, I think you could close with Starfield at the Xbox show. Like, hey, we've got one more thing that's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Starfield logo. Stay tuned in the next 10 minutes to find out more.
Yeah,
like
that
I could very well could be something very easy to do. I mean, we think Forza's coming. That's what's been reported and things like that. I think Forza's like a middle of the show thing. If I had to guess from Xbox at this point, let me ask you this.
Oh, all right.
Do they just drop Psychonauts day of show? Like, here's Psychonauts out now?
I would.
Because it's like, when is that game coming out? Like, if we don't have a date yet, and like at this point, just save it. We're already in April. May's packed. Just save it. Just push it to June.
And it's launching now into Game Pass. Goodbye.
Yeah, Psychonauts is out today.
Shadow drops like that are great, and I think that they should be in shows like E3, especially for littler games like this that are kind of cult classics and hits and indies. What else do you think? Jacob asks, with E3 coming back, what do you think Xbox will have to show? And I mean, we're going to get.
I think we're going to get a big, long campaign gameplay from Halo. I think they will announce the first public test flight for Halo multiplayer. I think that'll be a thing. Maybe
that weekend.
But I think that'll be a part of it. They'll do something like that. I think they'll cover a multiplayer mode. I want to believe that the Forza thing is real, so I think there will be a Forza game.
There's going to be a car on a virtual stage with some fancy
Psychonauts will be there.
Gears or no? That's my question to you.
It's too early.
No, because, well, one, it's
not unless they got that small DLC stuff. Like if they have another Hive Busters or something.
Ooh,
then
no,
maybe.
wait, do that. I want more of those characters.
Yeah.
I actually think they wouldn't do Gears because they need Halo to be big, and it needs to be the star of the show.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they'll do a games update. They'll do updates for like Sea of Thieves, for Grounded, for things like that. And then this year, I don't think from first party, unless Compulsion is ready to go, which I don't know, and I don't think anybody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what they're doing.
I'm going to guess no. That's my crystal ball prediction.
They've been hard at work for like 5-6 years. Like, it's been a long time.
I think you and I need to have a prediction show this year for E3 specifically. Because of how weird everything is. We should just dig into that nonsense the week before. We have to do that. I think we have to. Because then I get to see how wrong I am, and that's like my favorite stupid game. Like, wow, that was a little off.
I think Compulsion could be the one, unless it's a second party, which there are. We know there's second party. They got Tunic. They've got The Artful Escape. They've got As Dusk Falls, which was the name of the game I was trying to remember.
Right.
But they've got that game. I think that game could be this year. They've got tons of games. We Happy Few came out in 2018. Compulsion should be ready to show something.
We Happy Few is so disappointing too. You know what? I'm going to loop in another piece of news because I want to talk about it in this conversation. There's a rumor going around that Microsoft could potentially be publishing Kojima's next game. VentureBeat reports a source familiar with the matter says, I cannot confirm if Xbox closed the deal yet, but my understanding is that Kojima is the focus of Microsoft's plan to leverage Japanese talent. Do we get, if that gets closed in time, do we get coming soon to Xbox?
Jeff Grubb dropping bombs bombs with Kojima news.
And that's big news, but that could be E3 fare.
Yeah,
that's big enough to be like, look.
Yeah, just him
on
sitting
a stage
next to Phil is a big deal.
Or the logo with the Game Pass logo behind it or some nonsense. Like, that's a huge deal. Yeah, and if it happens...
Even if it's 4 years away, it's still a big announcement.
And I think it's big enough to drop during an E3 conversation.
Yeah, so if you do that, and that's a show. Like everything we just said. Like if you've got a compulsion, a second party game, you've got an indie, you'll have Game Pass announcements. They'll take
let's go.
There'll be some big game that they announce for Game Pass, right?
Sure.
So you do all that. Can I rope in a question?
Let's do that. I love it when we do
Jamie wants to know, when do you think we'll see a proper Elite controller come?
That could be an E3 announcement.
That could be an E3 announcement. I don't know if it'll be an Elite. I think it will be, but there will be a controller for Halo, 100%.
Agreed.
And an Elite 3 makes sense for Halo.
Here's another one to rope in. Final Fantasy VII Remake's exclusivity deal expires in like a week. It's like the 10th of April. That could be a coming now to Game Pass joint. It's already been on the PlayStation Plus service. That would be a huge E3. Like, guess what we got? Final Fantasy, play it now on Game Pass.
Series X version, like super
totally
enhanced
could see it, and
that.
not more money on Series X.
Yeah.
That's the deal to cut. They have a relationship with Square with Outriders.
Yep.
They could come in hot on that, and that would be exciting.
Yeah.
This
like
could be
that Persona rumor that won't go away. Like that could be that, even if it's old and that's big news. Like if they're like Persona 5 is on Game Pass, like that's big news.
This could be an E3. This could be like an exciting year, especially for Microsoft. They've set the dominoes up.
Bethesda goes, and then it's Starfield, Wolfenstein, Indiana
Elder Scrolls.
Jones.
Let's go.
Yeah, then it like really gets going.
Yeah,
like, holy crap! Like
we need to live stream this show.
And people have been saying this for a while. You know, and again, I brought it up earlier with the amount of, it seems like the amount of investment that Xbox has behind it. This happened before with Xbox 360.
Yes.
Microsoft threw their weight around and they carved out market.
So let's see what they do, man.
And if they're doing that again, which by all accounts, like all the evidence I think you need, it looks like they're doing it. It's like, watch out, because the Outrider is not a one-off.
And that's
more of these.
That's a relationship with Square. That's a relationship with somebody that they could leverage.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think Final Fantasy VII Remake hits Game Pass, and I think that's an E3 announcement. I think that's big enough. That gives them time to ink the deal. That'd be huge.
Now, I got to tell you, I grew up adoring Shinji Mikami, Suda51, Hideo Kojima. Like, I thought these were like the greatest minds in video games.
They're crazy. They're the craziest minds.
You know, I used to argue that like Suda was crazier than Kojima.
I've played Death Stranding. I don't think you're right.
I was just about to say, after Death Stranding, I concede. Like, I finally concede. Like, there's enough like nonsensical stuff in Suda games, but it almost has like a charm. Death Stranding stuff is...
I played all of Death Stranding,
bizarre.
and I needed to sit down for a minute afterwards. I put the controller down, and my husband just came down, and he was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, No, I'm actually not. I'm gonna need a minute. So
I hated that game.
Color me shocked, Donnie.
So
guys, breaking news.
You will not, like, I am not excited that Kojima is possibly in the works.
I understand.
Unless
they let him do whatever he wants.
It's a horror game.
Okay.
And in which I might cry.
Don't play with my emotions.
Because PT was one of my favorite things of the entire generation. We did a Games of the Generation episode. PT was like 6. People are like, "What? It's a demo." I was like, it's the best demo that's ever been made.
Do you know how many times the rumor of that game getting actually made in some way comes back? And I can't live through the emotional roller coaster of this crap again.
If it's a horror game, I'll be really excited. Anything else, I will try it. Like I tried Death Stranding. Yeah. I even had the console. I own Sweet Deal in the Pro.
I imported the controller. I bought the controller off eBay. It's real dumb. It's key-colored.
Then I tried to play it, and I was like, this is awful, and I turned it off. It was pretty. It looked great.
I'm 0% surprised that you hated it. It's one of my favorite PS4 games, weirdly enough. I actually rebought it on PC, and it looks amazing on PC.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It looks fantastic. I give them tons of credit there. I mean, it looks amazing. It is just...
It is the anti-Donnie game. It was created specifically to piss you off, actually.
I was like running down the hill. I was like packing this drum. I was like, what the hell?
hold one strap with one
This is
hand
some
and one with the other.
3D realistic Katamari delivery game. What the hell is happening?
It was specific. They wrote on the back. They're like, okay, first step, we have to piss off Donnie. Okay,
Yeah.
and then step one.
So
has to be
I'm not
obtuse.
going to be. There'll be a lot of. I'm sure after Jeff Grubb's news, there'll be a lot of Xbox people being like, "We got Kojima. You're not going to hear me.
Let's just
say
wait and
that.
see.
You're not
Calm
going to
down.
hear me say that.
No, I'm excited about Kojima. The
I'm
idea
going
of
to keep it
Kojima.
100.
You're going to keep it 100%.
I don't want a Metal
Donnie.
Gear clone.
I do.
God, Metal Gear Solid
Let's go.
4 and 5.
Yeah, let's
and
go.
3.
Let's go.
Oh,
Yes.
what a mess.
This is how different we are, kids, and we still get along. Okay, some therapy is required.
Talk about
all right?
nonsensical.
Look, bro, okay? I don't need my video games to make sense. I got enough sense in my real life. I don't want that shit in my video games. All right, speaking of crap that does not make sense. So here's what happened. Thank you for this sweet transition. There was a Twitter poll that went up that put Microsoft's Xbox against Skittles in a brand war.
It was a bracket. They were the final
They
two
were the
of,
finalists.
Like 30,
it was a whole bracket of garbage. But the deal that Microsoft said was, if we win, we will make Xbox Series X mini fridges. They managed to beat Skittles by 1% of votes. There were like 300,000
1%.
1%.
Skittles said they'd bring back lime Skittles. They're going to war.
This
like,
was
hey,
big. Why can't we have
vote?
both?
Oh,
I don't
man,
understand.
That's a good point.
You got nothing for this Twitter engagement. There just didn't cost you anything.
Tons of people. I mean, it was real close. I voted.
I voted for the mini fridge.
I voted from every Twitter account that we had. Hey,
I was wondering why someone logged into my Twitter account. What the hell?
including PSXP voted for the fridge.
You monster! I had nothing to do with this. Okay, I have nothing. Someone's coming for you. I'm gonna turn this podcast around.
Nobody tell Dev.
But look, for real though, as soon as I can pre-order one of these, I want this freaking mini fridge in my
hang
house.
on. If it's good.
I want it. I don't care if it's good or not. It's a dumb piece of nostalgia that I get to own.
The fridge sucked.
I want the same fridge, but without
People
his
were
logos
talking
on
about
it.
that Koa, the energy drink thing they had. But even the fridge itself, remove the look. That screen printed cheap look, I wasn't digging.
Sure, but I'd still buy it.
Xbox needs to do better. Now,
I want a light up logo.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
I just want the logo to light up,
and I'm going to put green LEDs in and everything. Yeah,
that shit needs to ship with green LEDs.
We're going to get fridges. Don't get me wrong.
No, I want a fridge. Don't worry, kids.
We got Xbox Empire mugs.
I'm going to order my mug this week. I'm going to get a hoodie too.
We're definitely going to get the fridge, but I want them to do well. Don't half-ass the fridge.
Yeah, I have plenty of disposable income. Make a good one. I'll pay $50 more for a non-shitty one. I'm
Make it a collector's edition to like a game or something.
It ships. Do you remember when Call of Duty did that? They had a version with the fridge.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that so bad.
Do it with an Elite controller. The Xbox Elite Gamer Bundle.
My brain just did a $500 calculation, and it went, would that be enough to tip me to divorce? Yes. Oh, yeah. No. Here's my credit card. Please take it. Like,
you're welcome,
my
Xbox.
Money.
All we ask is for Game Pass codes. Just give us
Guys,
Game Pass.
look, here's the deal. I buy a lot of Game Pass. Donnie has a whole gnome. Can't you just send us fridges? I don't ask for anything ever. I didn't ask for a console.
We didn't want those we didn't get the $500 headphones, but we want the fridge.
I'd rather the fridge than the headphones.
Yeah, I'd rather have the fridge too.
Don't at me. I don't care about your opinion. I want the fridge.
I'm so happy they won. I couldn't believe it was so close. I really thought they were going to lose there for a while. It was
unpopular opinion. I don't love Skittles.
Oh, I do.
I can't stand them. They get all stuck in my teeth.
Yeah, but I don't do. I don't do chocolate. Yeah,
I do chocolate. I'm very stereotypical.
Sweet tarts, Sour Patches, jelly beans, Skittles.
I love all that stuff.
I'm a monster. Look here.
He's just Starburst jelly beans are probably the best.
They're the best.
I just don't like Skittles. There's too much chewing involved. They're too hard. So screw your Skittles and your lime. Although lime better than the sour apple that they have now. There's no discussion.
I agree.
All right, look, we have one more news story. Okay. I saved this one to last. Because I need a minute. I need to stretch. If you thought last week was the last time you were going to hear about golf in like a month, oh, buddy, were you wrong? Donnie, what the hell happened here?
All right. So we were way off. So EA Sports.
Don't put me in this mix.
Well, no, I listened back to it because I was like, I want to be clear about what I said. So last week we were talking about it, and I was like, I said something along the lines, paraphrasing. There's nothing that EA can do unless they're going to do something like the Masters, which I then went on to say
probably won't happen.
They wouldn't do. Why did I say that? I said that because they didn't do it with Rory, right?
No, they've never done it
They only did
before.
it once, and it was 10 years ago the last time they did it. So I was like, obviously they're not gonna spend that money.
So what'd they do, Donnie?
They spent all of the money. They went and they are in it to win. Like they are here to play. So they didn't get Tiger, but EA Sports announced today on the eve of the actual Masters that starts tomorrow,
Which
the
was a
EA
baller
Sports
move.
PGA Tour will include the Masters with an official cover mock-up that had Road to the Masters on it with a shot of the Augusta National Clubhouse in the background, which when it first happened, I was like, holy crap. Like we were talking about like, what can they do to compete with Tiger? That's a step.
Thing.
That's one way they can do it.
But
and
wait.
I posted in Discord, and the very first thing that I said, and Seth, we were having a little discussion, was like, it would be really cool if they got all 4 majors. Like you could actually, because it's one of the things that I brought up in my 2K review from last year is that you play the game, but like their US Open is like the American Championship or whatever. And I know it's dumb, but it matters. Like it means something.
It's if you're going to advertise a thing, go the
If
whole
you're
way
playing
with
the
thing.
career golf mode, you want to win the majors.
Right.
You want to become
Okay.
the Open champion, the US Open champion, the PGA champion, and the Masters champion.
I need a flow chart, please, because
Yeah.
I don't understand golf. But I'm with you. I agree with what you're
Those
saying.
are the big tournaments. Those are the tournaments
4.
that golfers are counted, actually.
4 big
Tiger
tournaments.
has... all right, so put this in perspective. Here's how much it matters. Tiger has over 100 worldwide victories on golf.
That's pretty good.
Most people only count 16.
Because they're the only ones at the big
16
4
majors
tournaments?
that he has.
Okay. Okay.
Nobody
See, I can do
cares that
this.
you won the Honda Classic, or like nobody gives a...
There's a Honda Classic?
Right, exactly.
Do you get a car at the end? You get a car at the end.
Exactly.
Don't you?
That's
Yeah.
it. So nobody
Screw
cares.
that.
It's
No
just
one
about the
cares.
majors.
So just the 4 majors. Okay.
Then EA puts out a
statement.
press release.
Oh, baby.
PGA Tour is the only video game where fans can compete at all 4 of golf's majors: the Masters, the PGA Championship, the US Open Championship, and the Open Championship, my personal favorite. Golf fans can live out a legendary career mode as they authentically compete at the Players Championship in the FedEx Cup playoffs, strive to complete the career Grand Slam while experiencing the unique atmosphere and venues of each tournament.
That's the thing they had to do, right? I'm new to the golf thing, okay? I'm trying to follow you here.
As a golf fan,
that's the thing they had to
now, do. This actually, I might be more excited to play this now than 2K with Tiger.
You officially have to buy 2 golf games. If
I
you're a
do.
huge
Yeah.
golf fan,
Yeah.
no, not you. You don't count. You buy everything. I buy everything. We don't count, okay? If you're a tremendous golf fan, you are
If
in
you
the
love golf
position now.
games-
You have to buy both
You have to buy both to have a complete experience.
at the minimum. You have to have a complete experience, like the maximum.
And I hope we'll see, right? They're doing Frostbite and all that, but I can only hope that when we finally see this game, man, I'm going to tell you, Augusta National in 4K on next gen on my television.
I want to see all the blades of grass moving, Donnie. Every single freaking
Augusta
blade.
National is such eye candy. My wife,
It's a very pretty course.
like, you know, she used to, like when I played, she used to walk the course with me and stuff. She does appreciate like golf, like nature, scenery.
I do too. It's
Augusta
pretty.
National is the god tier of scenery. Like the azaleas, the dogwoods, the colors, the greens, like they're like everything that people make fun of golf about, like the pretentiousness to be perfect that Augusta National has. Like they cut grass with scissors.
I
to
know,
make sure
it's
it's
crazy.
even. You
It's
know,
my favorite kind because like I have real Caddyshack vibes from like the idea of someone trimming blades
Yeah.
of grass. Like I have real Caddyshack.
it's going to
vibes.
be gorgeous if they pull it off. I mean, it's going to be beautiful.
So this additional note, it's being developed in Orlando and Madrid by EA Tiburon, which I assumed, but a specific launch date to be announced in the coming months, along with many more details. That would be the E3 window.
Yeah.
That's where that would land. We'd get the details there.
We still don't know if it's coming this year or not. Maybe it is. They're announcing a lot of stuff for a game if it's coming out next year.
I don't know. Why not just drop it in the fall? When do golf games usually come out, Donnie? What's the traditional launch window for a golf game?
That's a good question.
Like, when the hell do you drop that? You don't drop
I would
that
at
in
the start of the
Christmas,
season in the spring.
which is now, isn't it?
now. Yeah.
So worst case scenario,
March.
you would get it in March of next year. Best case scenario, September of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So at September, you're phasing out the golf season. That's like the golf season's ending because the British Open is in June. The PGA, I believe, is in. They just, forgive me, they just changed all of their majors around.
Well, Yes.
Not for COVID, like the year before COVID.
Just because they
for
decided
ratings,
to? Oh,
for
good.
ratings. They were trying to get out of the way of football and stuff.
That's
They moved
fun.
them all around, and I don't remember them all. But yeah, so typically, like September is the end. Like they still have tournaments, but it's basically over. All the majors are done. Everybody's over. September is usually like Ryder Cup stuff and things like that. So my guess would be that it's coming out next spring.
That makes the most sense to me, but is that PGA Tiger game coming out this year?
Yeah.
So do they really want to leave another year on the table of potential revenue? This is a difficult situation for them to be in. They spent all this money on these people all spent money on deals with them. Do they really
2K
want to
dropped in August, so if they're having the new one come out
they would be in August.
But if they were coming out in August, I think we'd know by now.
I think haven't they hit the last 2 or 3 years in a row?
No.
They haven't. They had 2019.
Not every year. They took 1 year off.
They had
in
19.
In the move from the golf club, I think, to 2K, I think they took extra time.
I thought they did. And I thought there was Golf Club 19 and then there was the 2K last year.
2K was 21. Right? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's
matter.
inconsequential. I'm curious to see if both of these games come out this year or both of these games come out next year. One would think they would put them right up against each other and say, let's go. That would be great. Let's do that. I love a classic 2K versus EA sports battle. This makes it feel like the 90s again.
They're going at it, and
I'm excited.
I win for this. You're absolutely right. Like,
yeah, you're the biggest golf nerd I know.
This feels like the best. This feels like the best time to be a golf fan. Like we're getting Mario Golf, a PGA Tour game with all 4 majors and the Masters, and our 2K game with Tiger Woods. Like,
what are you even going to do? What are you going to do with yourself?
Play golf all year.
You're going to do nothing but. Hey, Donnie, what you playing? Golf. I understand.
I did look it up. We had
Okay.
the Golf Club in 14, the Golf Club 2 in 17, the Golf Club 2019 and 2018, the Golf Club or PGA Tour 2K 21 2020. So they skipped 2019.
Okay. All right. So that's fair.
So I think they both might come out in the fall or in the spring. I'm sorry. They both might come out in the spring.
So you don't think there is a golf game besides Mario Golf released this year?
If I had to bet, if I was making a bet right now, that's what I would. I think that's a safe bet. Do I know? I have no idea. But if I had to bet, I would think that because I feel like with Tiger and everything that's going on, like when they announced that, I felt like they would have announced it. They would have announced it like, hey, it's coming out in August. August is soon.
But this is COVID weird year, so maybe they want to make sure, and maybe they're going to announce it at E3 like it's out in 2 months, dog. That'd
be awesome.
I would love
awesome.
that. Because that makes me happy, and then you would explode. You would actually implode into a black hole of golf.
That's awesome, but I wouldn't bet on it.
So
my bet is that they'll both be in the spring.
Do you think we'll know the answer to that question at E3 in June? I think we'll know that answer to that question in some fashion over that weekend.
Yeah, I think
someone will announce something somewhere.
Yeah, whenever is EA? I don't remember. Is EA going to be at E3? They do their own thing these days, right?
They do their own thing, but like, what if it's launching into Game Pass though?
Yeah, like whatever EA Play is, right? Whenever they have it, I do expect when they have that show over the summer, they'll talk about the golf game.
So, what about does the PGA? Does the 2K one launch into Game Pass?
Maybe.
Does Microsoft say, "Let's go"?
Let's go.
Why not?
Xbox for golfers.
Have the Tiger Golf.
I'm very excited. This is very, very exciting for me.
It's a very cool year.
Like this is, I've been saying it for like, did you see the tweet the other day where I posted all the games that I want to play this year?
Yeah, dude.
There's like 35 games. You think like $60 a year, at $60 a pop, like, oh my God. And I know it doesn't seem like it because of my week to week. I'm like, I'm not playing anything till Snap, but that doesn't mean that this year might be my favorite year. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is right where our call-taking software system that we use froze. Just randomly froze in the middle of our call. It's the first time this has ever happened to us. And we thought we were good, actually, because while the stream we definitely saw was froze on Twitch, and the chat let us know, actually, on our end, on the call, we were good. We were still talking and everything was fine, and we were still recording, so we thought we were fine. But as we found out, we weren't. So we're missing about 20 minutes here of show that I'm going to try to fill in the blanks because obviously we don't want to let you go without the questions and things that we had. So I'll try my best to fill in for Elaine here. But as I was just saying, this is turning into one of my favorite years that I can remember. Not only do I have Mario Golf, and we've got Halo Infinite and Dying Light and No More Heroes and all these games that I've been waiting on and wanting to play for so many years. So many of my favorite franchises, like they're all piling up into this back half of the year that is truly epic, at least for me. One of my favorites that I think in memory. And I think it's crazy because I think the current consensus right now is that, next gen is kind of off to a slow start, but I think pretty quickly here, it's going to turn around pretty fast. And once we get into the summer through the end of the year, as a lot of these games haven't been delayed, I'm starting to run out of time for delay. Maybe we see delays at E3, but I feel like a lot of these games are going to hit. It's going to be a pretty packed fall. So we got lots and lots and lots of games here. The last news story that we had before we got into our questions were just Game Pass updates. So April 8th, we have GTA 5 coming back to Xbox Game Pass and the cloud, which I think is very important, actually, as I know there are several folks that are testing the browser version as they prepare to try to hit Apple devices and other devices that can't run the Game Pass app natively. So Grand Theft Auto 5 coming back, that's still big news. It's the biggest game of all time. So it coming back to Game Pass is awesome. Zombie Army 4 Dead War, which is an excellent shooter if you're just looking for good guns, good fun. Not the greatest game in the world by any means, but I've played about I think 3/4 of the game, and I really enjoyed it. Kevin and I bought it last year, and we thought it was really fun. Like I said, really good time. Disneyland Adventures and Rush, a Disney Pixar adventure, come to cloud gaming as well. On April 12th, we get NHL 21. April 15th, Rain on Your Parade and Pathway. April 20th, again, the star of the show, MLB The Show 21, coming day and date in Game Pass. And then leaving this month on Game Pass is Deliver Us the Moon, Gato Roboto, War Groove, and then a bunch of sports sequels. We had like Madden, 15, 16, 18, whatever the older sequels are. They're now leaving Game Pass. So we got to our questions, and I think one of the highlight questions that we had came from Michael, who was a first-time writer, and he mentioned that he's been a lifetime PlayStation player, and he's been trying to get a PS5 for the last 6 months. He hasn't been able to chance to get one. So he had the opportunity to buy an Xbox Series X, which he did with 3 months of Game Pass. Good job, Michael. And he wanted to know what our favorite franchises and recommendations were for somebody who's never played Xbox before. That's a huge question. One, thank you, Michael, for listening to us. I have no idea how you found us, but that's awesome. So welcome to Xbox. Welcome to the Xbox Empire. I hope you really, really enjoy it. But jumping into Xbox at this point in time, there is a lot that you've missed. And really coming off the Xbox One generation, not the best back catalog compared to like the generations that they've had previous, but also hard to recommend some of the older games unless you really appreciate retro games. Like, I'm a major Fable fanatic. I love Fable. It's my favorite franchises Xbox has. It'd be really hard for me to recommend somebody go back to Fable at this point in time if they've never played it before and they've never done it. But if you're into that adventuring thing, that's something to check into. But immediately, both Elaine and I said Gears 4. I know it might be a little intimidating to get into Gears if you've never played it. You can get into Gears 4 without having played the first 3. They will recap a lot, and if you still don't understand kind of like the deep lore and you're interested in it, you could just quickly go to a YouTube. There are plenty of YouTube videos like, hey, what happened? Story synopsis of Gears of War before Gears 4 and stuff like that, and they'll catch you up to speed. Gears 4 does a lot for the world building, the characters introduce you to Kate, and then Gears 5 is just a technical showpiece, just a master of gaming performance, graphics, and everything that you want to do with your Series X. Like, Gears 5 is a perfect way of doing it. It's super fun, very varied, diverse environments, diverse like enemies and types of enemies that you're going to fight, while also having a story of its own. So Gears 5 was an immediate one. If you've never gotten into Halo, you have the Halo Master Chief Collection. There's never been a better time to figure out if there's something for you in Halo. We also brought up Sunset Overdrive. Man, there's Forza. I mean, how could you not? Forza Horizon. I mean, 3 is my favorite, but 4 is the newest one. It's the, the prettiest one. The most updated one is Series X Enhanced. Those are definitely recommendations. Ori, and most all of these games, by the way, are in, your wheelhouse over there in Game Pass land. So definitely download all of those games. Both the Ori games are just, man, Ori and the Will of the Wisp particularly, just a masterpiece in platforming, game design, the Metroidvania, like the whole thing, like just incredible. So those are quick recommendations. And then also I included The Medium, which is one of my favorite games on Game Pass that I've gotten a chance to buy. Tell Me Why. Forgive me, I'm trying to remember what Elaine's were. Grounded, I got lost in that game, like really deep lost in that game for a couple of weeks there before I bounced on to other things. So there's just a lot to play as you get ready for the games that are yet to come on Xbox. Hellblade, I imagine if you were a PlayStation gamer, you played Hellblade when it came out because I believe it was exclusive over on PlayStation for a year. But if you didn't, I mean, yeah, definitely get Hellblade, play on Series X, put it on the graphics, super visual mode, and get ready before Hellblade 2 comes out. Another question that we had came in from Taylor Nova, and Taylor wrote, did you guys try Outriders? And if so, what did you think? Also, Outlaw Golf rules. And you're right, it absolutely does. I still have my physical copy of Outlaw Golf and Outlaw Golf 2. I tried Outriders, and like the looter shooter thing, the Destiny thing was never going to be like really my cup of tea, but I got excited because Dev's excited, because it's crossplay, because it's Game Pass, because it's doing all the things. And I gotta say that I wasn't very impressed with Outriders. I'm not saying is bad. I just, with all of the hype that was going into it, especially with the Game Pass announcement, but even before that, just with all the hype, and people were really excited for it. I think it's definitely benefiting from a light window where a lot of people are just wanting to play something new, and that new thing is Outriders. But like when you evoke the Destiny label and these games like that, I just felt like Outriders like left a lot to be desired, at least from like a presentation standpoint. Just like the physics of the game, how the game looked. I only played it during the beta open period. I have not downloaded the game since it had Game Pass. Maybe it's gotten better since they released it. If it has, Taylor, and any of our listeners, you can let me know if you think I should give it another try. But I don't think this game was really for me to begin with, so it was easy for me to just kind of pass on. I do know that Elaine has been playing it a little bit, and she can let you know more about that when next week after she's played a little bit more of it. But yeah, for me, I just thought it was kind of just good. It was a good game, but nothing that really captured my attention in a major way. Nathan writes, for the podcast, let's say you struck it rich by means of the GameStop stock situation. You can tell how long we've had this question in the queue, and are now a multi-millionaire. You're able to woo an indie developer and commission your own indie Xbox game. What would it be? Who would develop it? How much would you charge for it? And would it be on Game Pass? And name one achievement it would have, conditions to achieve. Okay. So I hope Elaine doesn't hate me for taking this opportunity to answer this question. But my answer would, obviously, right? It would have to be a golf game. I would love to get an indie developer kind of in the story or kind of in the same vein as Golf Story, but something like that. It'd have to be them. The folks that did Power Star Golf would work for me as well. But I would grab somebody that could work on a golf game. I would like it to be cartoony in nature, like Hot Shots, like Animal Crossing, something like that, like very cute. And I would like it to be part golf game, part like golf sim builder. So I'd like golf courses to have like a customized builder where you could create your own courses, create your own clubhouses, like design them, share them, and play them. And then as well as having like a campaign character unlock. I would definitely name all of my friends in it. So we would have all caricature versions of PSVG. So there'd be Kevin, be Elaine, be Rebecca, there'd be Garrett, there'd be Kyle, there'd be Josh. Everybody would be there. Devin, Seth, Haley, Delvin. I can't name everybody, right? We'd all be there. We'd all be characters. We'd all have caricature versions of us, right? So we'd all have, like funny clothes or something like represents our personality, our general demeanor is like funny quips. And you would have to unlock us by beating us on the golf course, maybe even have our own golf courses like themed for us. I definitely would want it to be like Mario Golf, like more Arcadian fun, not just like a standard golf game. I'd like it to be a little bit more than that. But yeah, definitely with that builder aspect, like almost like an Animal Crossing, but not like that tedious, but in that way of being able to really shape the course the way that you want. That would be kind of the game that I would be going for. And I've brought this up in the past. It's been something, as we've gotten a few of these questions, it's been something I've always settled on and kind of come to. So that's what it would be. That's who would develop it. I would charge $29.99. How about that? Not knowing at all how much it costs to make it or market it, I will charge $29.99. It will be on Game Pass. Absolutely, it will be in Game Pass. And an achievement that it would have. That's a tough one because I don't really pay attention to achievements, I would have on the Donnie version of the golf course, somewhere on the side of a fairway, kind of like in the tree line, I would have a gnome there. The Game Pass gnome would be present. And if you hit the Game Pass gnome with a golf ball, you would unlock 1,000 gamer score. I would just put it all into one achievement. That's it. That's the achievement. You just get them all. I'm not going to waste your time. You're not going to jump through a bunch of hoops. You hit the gnome. You got to find it. Ooh, maybe I can make it random. Maybe the gnome only appears random. It's like a rogue thing. It's procedurally generated gnome. And you got to hit him with a golf ball and you only get one swing. If you miss, the gnome disappears and goes back. But if you hit him, 1,000 gamer score. I think it's fantastic. So those were our questions. And the last thing that we did talk about, we had a little bit more conversation about E3. We were talking about how we would like to do it. Obviously, we're going to live stream the show. I believe it'll be that Sunday, so you can expect Elaine and I to live stream over the Xbox and Bethesda shows. And then in PSVG fashion, you can expect us to do a recap podcast right away. So it's going to be a big, busy, awesome day. We hope you hang out with us and join us in the chat and on our stream. But Elaine was thinking maybe leading into there, we're having a show about our favorite E3 memories, which I think is fantastic. I think we'll go ahead and plant our flag on that hill versus doing like all the prediction shows, which I'm sure everybody's going to do a prediction show and good for them. Like I've done many a prediction show in my own past. So there's no stone being thrown here. I just feel like this year especially with Xbox, like, yeah, we get it. Like we have a good idea of what to expect. And maybe they show us some stuff that's coming in later years. I expect there'll be at least a few things that they show us that's not coming out this year at their E3 show. But I mean, they've really shown what every studio is working on for the foreseeable future, at least a couple years out. So I don't expect too many major announcements, if anything, unless, except for maybe Bethesda in the Bethesda show. So I like the idea. Let's do our favorite E3 memory, especially because Elaine's new and we're new to the E3 cover. It'll be our first time doing E3 together anyway. So yeah, we can talk about our favorite E3 shows as we get ready to lead into E3. I'm just so excited that it's back. I can't wait. As you guys heard me last year, I love E3. I think most gamers should. And I'm just really, really happy to see that it's back. So that said, sorry, our stream crapped out. We'll definitely make sure we have got that fixed. I think it's fixed now, actually. When I looked at we use Melon. If any of our listeners out there are wondering how we do this, we use Melon, and I did notice that they added a few new features once I refreshed. So I think they were performing some updates while we were recording. So I don't expect that will be an issue going forward, but we'll make sure that we're prepared just in case that it is. But with that being said, I'd like to thank our producers that support us over at patreon.com/PSVG. These have been updated for our Patreon supporters in the month of April. So thank you, Michael Masick, Barry Cathcart, Edwin Callow. Callow, man, dude, thank you so much. You continue to be just MVP over there, and we couldn't, man, We just really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Stephen Keller, Nick Creature, Rude Days 93, Ben Moxham, what's up, B-Mox, Rob Emanuel, Nick Fallhaber, Paul Calico, Kyle Hyman, Grouchy Surge, Devin Tias, Josh Borboni, RJ Kern, and new patron, Horse Girl 69. Yes, the whole staff has had quite a laugh at making sure that Horse Girl 69 is in all of our Patreon live on air producer credits. And with that being said, we'll catch you next week, and we'll go play some video games. Talk to you later, guys.